So here's what we're gonna go through, y'all. We're gonna go through the one hand swing, which is gonna be the foundation for everything in the snatch. We're gonna go with the overhead position. We're gonna talk about the drop and the high pull, basically getting from the top and getting back up. Then we'll talk about the punch finish and the catch, and then we'll just work on consistent technique. Snatch is just gonna be basically a swing, right? That's gonna end up overhead. So you need to make sure your one hand swing is really, really good, okay? At the bottom of every rep of the one hand swing, it has to be consistent, right? So you can't have some that like go way down here and then some that kind of go to here, some that go here, right? Every single rep, when that bell comes down, you gotta sink, shoot this arm out to the outside, and then stand up really hard, drive this arm into like a plank position, and make the bell float as much as possible, okay? The more you can make the bell float right now, the easier the snatch is gonna be, okay? Also, don't forget to breathe. Inhale on the way down, exhale when the hips come through, okay? I'm gonna have everybody bring the bell into the rack and pop it overhead. Couple things to think about when you're here. This elbow should easily be able to stay locked out in this position, okay? Your bicep should be in line with your ear. Your wrist has gotta be strong. It's gotta be knuckles to the ceiling. You can't be here, all right? And the other thing is you gotta be able to achieve this position without too much extension in your ribs or tipping forward of the hips, right? I need to be able to be here with my body stacked, okay? So everyone rack that bell up. Go ahead and pop it up overhead. Good. Everyone give me 3 deep breaths. Good. Hold, breathe, walk that arm out. Good. Let's go over the drop. Let's go over the drop. So, Peter is the man at this. Peter is the man at the drop. So face me.
Face you.
Yeah. Okay, so the drop of the kettlebell. He's gonna pop that bell up overhead. Okay. The drop of the kettlebell is something that is a little bit tricky, I think, for people to really get, all right? It's a combination of actually throwing the bell away from you, but at the same time, bending your elbow so that that bell drops pretty close to your body, okay? So go ahead and drop into a swing. Oh, that was pretty, everyone get that? That was pretty good. Do it again.
Do the slow motion.
Okay, so yeah, can you do the slow motion?
Can you slow that when you get down, Bobby?
So, you'll watch Peter here. The biggest mistake I see people do is they throw it too far away from them. Their arm actually goes like straight, right? Drop it again. Woo! Good, bring it up. Good, do it again. Drop. Good. So, the idea here is that like, okay, say you're holding like a stack of books, right? And I take my hands and I drop them out from underneath the books. The books are gonna fall down in front of me, right? I don't need to like throw the books out in order for the books to go down, right? Same idea with the kettlebell. Too many times people will be here and they'll throw that bell way out in front, but then what happens is what goes away from you has to come back to you somehow, right? So your grip ends up having to really work to pull that bell all the way back to your hips, right? Rather than here, drop, the bell flips, it falls, and then you just let the bell fall until it gets back to your hips, and then you start to slowly grip it as you push it back into your swing. Now, when you drop, the bell has to get off the back of your wrist like right away, immediately, okay? That means that there's gotta be this little bit of either you throw it slightly or you just gotta bend the elbow right away and get that bell off, right? But what you don't wanna see happen is you don't wanna have this moment where you like drop the elbow but the bell is still on the back side of the wrist, right? Because everyone feels if that happens, what happens is the bell pulls you down and then it's really hard to get it back into the back side of your hips, right? So I have to be able to drop and get the belt off of my wrist right away, right? Drop. Get the belt off of the wrist so it starts to turn over and fall, rather than just dropping my elbow with the belt still on the back side of my wrist, okay? Let's go to the left side. Pro tip on that when we can start practicing that when we snatch is that you're gonna have like a slight weight shift when that happens, right? So like when you snatch, your weight slightly comes forward, but when you drop the bell, you almost like lean your body slightly out of the way so that bell can drop right in front of you, okay? So it's very, very small, but it makes a big difference, okay? All right, let's go over the high pull. Let's do it today, okay? So on a high pull, usually they'll teach it where the bell will go out and then you'll just yank it back towards your ear, right? So the bell goes out, yank, okay? But that's thinking like it's a one-hand swing into, then you pull the bell, right? Which that's not the snatch, right? The snatch, if the one-hand swing, if this happens on the snatch, the bell's too far away from you. You're already lost, okay? What happens on the high pull for us is we want to end up taking the swing from here to here and just changing the float of the bell, right? So there's a big difference between this and this. See that? See how the bell's literally I'm just changing the trajectory of the bell so it doesn't go out and back, but coming out of the hips, it just goes up. It literally reaches like the end of its float, and then it goes right back down. Everyone see that? Yeah? Okay, let's try that. What I want you to do is this. I want you to do a swing, and I want each one to get a little bit closer to your body.
Couple things to think about while he's also doing this. He's got a loose grip on there. He does not have a death grip on there. So nice and relaxed in his hands, letting that bell float to the top. Okay.
I'm sweating though. This is where the idea of snatching in a phone booth comes in, right? Because if I one hand swing, I'm gonna break the glass on the phone booth that's in front of me, right? But if that phone booth is really close to me in the beginning, I can't have this moment where like I swing and then I pull it up, right? It's just gotta be my hips and my arm guides it up. So it needs to be hips, and my arm just like dead weight floats in front of me just to about eye level, and then I let it drop, right? So those of you who feel like you're finishing your hips and then you're pulling the bell up, you gotta focus more on what's happening with your hips and less on what's happening with your arm. Just imagine that it's impossible for you to swing the bell out in front, so you have to guide the bell up, okay? So we're gonna get more into the actual finish now. So what I want everybody to do is we're gonna focus on keeping the bell close, right? We're gonna alternate between a swing and a snatch here, but now what I want you to think about is after this one swing, boom, you're actually gonna snatch the bell up. And the only thing I want you to do is guide the bell to your eyes. Once you get it to your eyes, you're just gonna punch, turn the bell over. It's gonna happen naturally, like your body's just gonna do it. So don't overthink it. Just punch your hands straight up and hold for a second. Don't be in a rush to get out of the top position, okay? So one swing, then snatch. Hold, breathe for a second, and then do it again, drop. One swing, snatch, hold, okay? Let's do it, let's do it. So when you go to snatch, I know when a lot of people learn to snatch, they're thinking a lot about what it feels like to actually catch the bell, right? And how the bell's traveling up, they're worried about what it's gonna feel like when the bell actually hits their wrist. But what happens is if you slow down your snatch, like you actually slow down the action of your bell coming up and turning over onto your wrist, it's gonna hurt. It's not gonna feel good, because like if I slow this down, right, where I'm going up overhead, it's gonna turn over, it's gonna smack me really hard, right? So I have to meet the velocity of the way that the bell is actually floating with how quickly I punch my hand, right? So I have to meet this here as the bell's floating, boom. I gotta punch my hand through, because that's the only way that the bell is gonna actually land softly on my wrist, because it's gonna turn over at the same point that I'm actually extending my elbow, okay? But if it's trying to turn over and I'm slowing down, it's not gonna feel good, all right? So let's do that again. One hand swing into a snatch. Don't slow down. Be aggressive, be quick, okay? Let's go. So, when you drop the bell, the idea of consistent technique, right? The bell has got to go in the same spot on the way down every time, right? So, when you drop, everyone do this with me. Put one arm up overhead, doesn't matter which one, okay? You're gonna actually drop your elbow, right? Boom, drop the elbow. You slightly lean back, right, Lee? Right, Lee, right. Okay, the bell's falling. You're literally gonna push this bell right at your midsection, like right below your belly button. And then at the last second, you're just gonna get your hips out of the way, okay? So you drop here, and then you push that bell back. Because what's gonna happen there is gonna make sure the hand and the bell is high in the hips, okay? If I drop and I go like this, woo, and my hand is down here, I might be loading my hips, I might be loading my back, I don't know, right? But if I drop my hand and I get my hand right here, right in the middle of my body, I know 99% of the time I'll be loading actually my hips and my hamstrings.
So you gotta get the bottom. So coming through, notice also a lot of times, especially one hand swing and snatch, a lot of times sometimes we rotate through to help try create momentum. Think about everything should be square, shoulder square, hip square, and when he shoots through, both hips come through at the same pace. Okay? A lot to think about, but really trying to think about keeping square all throughout that swing. Okay? Drive those feet